What's up guys, Irish Turtle here, and welcome to today's video, essentially rounding up all the important information that we learned from the ESL finals this weekend. So hopefully you guys are going to enjoy this video. I'm not going to be showing like the full stream like some people have done, or just taking like cuts of the full stream and letting them talk. I'm going to talk over the entire video. And you can just see the gameplay and sort of relating stuff in the background, which I hope you guys will enjoy. And if you'd like to see the actual full stream that was on ESL, I'll put a link to that in the description below, so you can watch that if you'd rather not listen to me, which is completely up to you. So first off, let's start off with the key thing, the two new operators. We got to see them in action, essentially, this weekend. We saw Macy J playing through a couple of rounds on the new map as Echo and Hibana, so now we kind of know exactly how these new operators work and how their abilities work, which is what we've all been really looking forward to seeing. So let's start off with Echo. Now, his ability is essentially a drone that you can put down on the ground or on the roof. And with the tap of the jump button, essentially the drone changes which floor it's on. So if you tap jump and it's on the floor, it'll stick to the roof, and if you tap jump again, it'll stick to the ground. That's pretty much how that works. And essentially the idea is this is a drone that you have the only camera for, and you can drive it around, and essentially as you're driving it around, if you see an enemy, you can shock them, which disorientates them completely. So it makes it more difficult then for them to see, for them to shoot you, and essentially the idea is you're distracting this enemy player. It was also told to us later on that if you keep moving once you've been shocked, the actual effects of the shock get worse. So it's kind of interesting to know that Echo's ability is very much a hard defense thing, and they did also specify during the videos that this is a character that you should only really play if you're willing to talk to your teammates, because, like I said, they can't use the camera, so you're the only one that can see through it. And obviously, if you're going to be going around with a teammate or you're seeing enemies, you have to hop on your microphone and tell them, because they won't know otherwise. So I think it's going to be more interesting. It adds a little bit more of forced teamwork for anyone that wants to play Echo on a regular basis, and I quite like that idea. It's going to be quite interesting to see how that changes up the meta. He's definitely going to be a must-pick, I imagine, for operators, especially when it comes to stopping hard pushes on a defending point, as he seems to be really, really effective with that. As you'll see in the video right here, that Macy's just managing to push this Blackbeard back with this drone, and it's a really effective method for pushing the Blackbeard back. So it means we've got quite a nice new ability for the defending side that doesn't require you to roam out, because the last few DLC operators have all been pretty much roaming operators. Now, let's talk about Hibana. So, unfortunately, during the gameplay, her ability wasn't showcased as much. The reason for that, we were told, was that her ability wasn't working properly. It had sort of bugged out. But we did get to see it once, right at the very start of the gameplay. And essentially, we saw that the way it works is you pull it out, and you get this sort of square on your screen that indicates where the different charges are going to be placed. And then you can fire them, and you can fire up to 3 sets of charges, and you can choose to detonate them when you want. So the idea essentially is you fire the charges at a wall, you could then fire a second set above them, or you could just have the single set and you can detonate them. And essentially the idea is it can create kill holes in reinforced walls, you could do it through floors, you could take out barricades with this. Essentially it's like an Ash breaching round, but also it affects reinforced walls as well. So that's quite interesting. It might mean that her, as a meta character, she might actually knock out Ash as such a regularly played character. Obviously we'll have to wait and see, but that'll be quite interesting if that's the case. Now obviously we were told as well that the ability can actually be stopped, as I predicted in my other video talking about this. They can be stopped by mute or twitch, so not twitch, sorry, mute or bandit. So basically if the charges go down and there's a mute jammer, it stops it. If there's a bandit charge, it'll fry them off and they won't detonate. So it does mean that she can actually be stopped, the same as a thermite can be. But in retrospect, when you look at how her ability actually works, it's going to be, again, another massive meta change to the game, because it's things like you could open up quite a small kill hole in a wall and then use that as cover, because obviously the reinforced wall is bulletproof everywhere else. And if you couple that with, say, like Blackbeard, this character is going to be a really awesome operator, and she's going to have a lot of plays, sort of, I imagine, developed around her abilities, making that, like, so that she's going to be a key anchoring player in like all these different strategies for attacking and defending. Now, I do just want to point out that when they actually fire the charges, you can actually choose, as I said, to stack them one above the other. And if you do that, in theory, what they've said is you could actually open up a hole that you could either vault through or crouch through to get into an objective room. So again, it's one of those things where it's going to change up how we actually attack and defend a lot more, because there's a new sort of method, and obviously there's a new version of Thermite about. So now let's move on to the map. Now, obviously the map is called Skyscraper. It's basically a Yakuza house that's been built up. There's been some sort of gang war that goes on there. So when you look around the map, you can see bullet holes, you can see blood, you can see guns on the ground, that kind of normal stuff. The map itself looks absolutely awesome. It's very sort of, as they've said, traditional versus technologically advanced. So they've got like a room with like a holographic view of a city. You've got like a karaoke room, but then you've got rooms with like traditional sort of Japanese things like the armor suits and the crossbows. There's a room with a giant drum that seemed to circulate a lot during the gameplay. And it's a lot of interesting stuff. Apparently it's akin to the sort of destructible levels as Chalet, which is one of the Pro League's favourite sort of maps with the levels of destruction. So I'm quite looking forward to it. Apparently it's got a really nice balance between destructibility and non-destructibility. So it's not like a broken DLC map as the last few have kind of been, where they've sort of either gone to like too destructive or not destructive enough. And apparently this map has kind of met that perfect middle ground. So I'm definitely looking forward to playing it officially next weekend. Now there is another really awesome thing that came out. It's not going to be coming with the Red Crow DLC launch, but it was confirmed that Barlett University will actually become a PvP map in the 5.2 patch update. So essentially what this means is after Red Crow drops, a little bit later on we'll get a patch and Barlett University will be given to us. And that is awesome because this is something the community has been crying out for a while. A lot of people have been saying, why is this a map in PvE but not in PvP? I was asked this a couple of weeks ago by somebody, and I kind of said, you know, the reasoning for it is that it's not set up for PvP. The way it's sort of laid out doesn't work. And I was pretty much right. They did come out and say, you know, we had to add in destructibility, add in certain things to make it a more PvE sort of orientated map. And it seems like they've done exactly that. So now the game is actually going to be centered around PvP. We're going to actually finally get to see that map outside of Article 5. It won't be dominated by the orange smoke that it is on that mission. And again, it's going to be one of those maps I'm really looking forward to playing. And supposedly it's got a really interesting amount of breaching points on it. So it kind of means that we're going to see a lot of sort of stuff going on in that map. And we're going to see a lot of pushing from different angles, which again is nice to see. And it should be quite a good map. Supposedly also, one of the things we were told is that it's a very long map with long sight lines on it. So essentially the idea here is like Glaz and sort of any kind of character that's really good at range will actually really benefit from this map if they get the right sight lines planted down. So that's something to look forward to, especially if you enjoy playing Glaz but don't really find you can play him on too many maps. At least he's got another one sort of coming now. And then of course we have the other little things that we were told about. Very briefly, I thought I'd cover these. So we're going to have caliber-based destruction, which basically means that different sized bullets are going to put different size holes into walls. Basically, it just means that all the bullets don't make the same size hole. So you're going to have to be a bit more careful about which guns you use to shoot through to make a kill hole with. Essentially, it's just going to change up little things here and there, which I'm quite looking forward to, as it adds up a little bit of change again to the meta. But realistically, it's not a huge change. You'll only really notice it if you play ranked on higher levels or if you're desperate to make kill holes. You'll probably sort of see that certain guns will make bigger holes than other ones a lot faster, or, you know, it'll take a little while longer to make a hole actually that you can see through. So essentially, you know, the guns are changing just a little bit. But you know what, I quite like that, I welcome that. It did seem a little bit odd that all the guns made the same size hole, so at least they're changing that and making it a bit more interesting. And now the final bit of information. The nice little sneaky thing that we have courtesy of Tio. So thanks to him for throwing this in to the actual stream. Essentially, he basically said, should I show them the thing as he picked Montagna? And, well, I kind of went, are they going to have skins for shields? And pretty much as soon as Macy looked at Tio, we could see that Tio's shield had a military camo on the shield. And, well, quite frankly, that's quite awesome. It basically means we're going to have shield skins, which is nice because I have to say, as an operator, the ones that I didn't like playing and buying skins for was the shield operators because that massive shield, you couldn't really see the skin anyway. And it's nice to know that Ubisoft have actually gone, well, people that like to main Montagna or Blitz or fuse with the shield, you know what, we're going to give them something they can put onto those shields to stand out. And you know what, I like that. It's really awesome to see that they're doing that. It's going to make the shields look a little bit less bland, as currently they do look bland. Supposedly, according to the guys that were playing, Blitz has better shield camos than Montagna, but obviously we don't know that because we only got to see the one on that one round. But I had to again say thanks to Tio for showing us that. He's an awesome guy, and it was good of him to sort of pick out something that he didn't necessarily have to show, and it was a good surprise right at the end of the video, sort of to see that that was coming. So that's pretty much all the major things that we know from the obviously the ESL tournament. Obviously, a lot of things could still be added in that we don't know about, or there could be some little sneaks here and there. I imagine there will be some sort of Easter egg hiding the next DLC behind it. Obviously, we don't know at the minute, but once the map launches, I imagine there'll be hunts going on. Also, as a point, there is going to be a second season of DLC. That has been confirmed already during the year, and a lot of people are now sort of saying, wait for the Season 2 roadmap to drop. So that's something to look forward to. Season Pass 2 to drop. But yeah, I mean, that's going to be good to see. At least we know that the Siege is getting another year of support from Ubisoft, which is good, as it means, you know, it's not going to just die out and be left. But that's pretty much everything, so I hope you guys enjoyed this very brief roundup video. If you did, as always, feel free to give me a like. If you didn't enjoy it, feel free to give it a thumbs down. Share it with your friends if you find anything here interesting or that you didn't know about. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.